Did you know that more than 80% of brand new engines are ruined by owner mistakes, and most of that damage happens in the first 20,000 miles? One wrong move during the break-in period, and you've already shaved years off your car's life. In this video, I'm breaking down the 12 things you should never do in a brand new car. And if you stick with me until the end, I'll share a bonus tip that can literally double the lifespan of your engine. Let's dive in. Mistake number 12, ignoring the owner's manual. You just spent tens of thousands of dollars on a new car, and yet the first thing most people do is toss the owner's manual into the glove box like it's junk mail. Huge mistake. That book isn't just filler. It's a survival guide written by the engineers who built your car. It tells you everything: the break-in rules, the RPM limits, the right type of oil, when to change it, and even when it's safe to tow or haul heavy loads. Some manuals warn you to keep RPMs under 3,500 for the first 600 miles. Others tell you not to tow anything for at least 1,000 miles. And many emphasize the importance of that very first oil change. Ignore these guidelines, and you're gambling with the most expensive piece of machinery you own. Mistake number 11, flooring the gas too soon. The fastest way to kill a new engine? Slam your foot to the floor the second you leave the dealership lot. I've seen it countless times. Brand new cars with under 100 miles, and the owner just had to see what it could do. Here's the problem. Those piston rings need time to properly seat against the cylinder walls. That process requires controlled pressure and varied RPMs. If you floor it too soon, the rings glaze instead of sealing. The result? Oil consumption, low compression, and an engine that feels tired before it even hits 20,000 miles. One customer of mine bragged about racing his new truck at every stoplight. By 20,000 miles, it was guzzling oil like an old beater. The factory didn't build it wrong. He broke it wrong. Mistake number 10, skipping the first oil change. You've heard it before. Modern cars don't need an oil change until 7,500 miles. That's true for routine service, but not for the very first change. During break-in, your engine sheds microscopic metal shavings as the piston rings, bearings, and cams settle in. That's normal, but those shavings circulate through the oil like grit. If you leave them in too long, you're scoring bearings, scratching camshafts, and shaving years off your engine. Some manufacturers recommend the first oil change at 1,000 miles. Others say 1,500 or 2,000. Either way, it's always earlier than the normal interval. Think of it as cheap insurance. Fresh oil after break-in sets the foundation for the entire lifespan of your car. Mistake number 9, using cruise control early. It feels smooth and convenient to set the cruise on your first road trip, but during break-in, it's one of the worst things you can do. Why? Because piston rings need varied speeds and loads to seat properly. Locking your car into the same RPM for hundreds of miles traps the engine at one pressure point. Instead of wearing in evenly, the rings glaze in patterns that lead to oil burning and rough performance later on. Even manufacturers warn against steady speeds for the first 500 to 1,000 miles. My rule of thumb: don't touch cruise control until you've passed 1,500 miles and done at least one oil change. Mistake number 8, overloading or towing right away. A brand new car is not a moving truck. I've seen people load their new SUV with landscaping blocks or hitch up a trailer the very first week. That's not breaking it in, that's breaking it down. When a car is new, the suspension components, struts, bushings, springs, are still bedding in. Overloading too soon stretches rubber, bends geometry, and cooks shocks before they've even had 1,000 miles. Tires suffer too. I've seen brand new sets ruined after one overloaded road trip. Check your manual. Most warn against towing or carrying heavy loads for the first 1,000 to 1,500 miles. Respect that window, or you'll be shopping for new suspension parts way sooner than you planned. Mistake number 7, hard braking and sudden stops. Slamming the brakes in a new car might feel harmless, but it's one of the fastest ways to ruin brand new pads and rotors. Brakes require a bedding-in process. Several gentle stops gradually heat and cool the pads and rotors so they mate properly. If you slam the brakes over and over during the first few hundred miles, you glaze the pads permanently. That means squeaks, vibrations, weak stopping power, and hot spots on the rotors. I once had a customer bring in a new crossover with only 800 miles. Her brakes squealed like a rusty bicycle, and sure enough, the pads were glazed solid. Don't let that be you. Mistake number 6, running on low fuel. Running near empty is bad for any car, but on a new one, it's even worse. Modern fuel pumps are cooled and lubricated by the gasoline itself. Run low too often, and those pumps run hot and dry. That shortens their life dramatically, and replacing one can cost over $1,000. And don't forget the sludge at the bottom of your fuel tank. Dirt, rust, and sediment. When you drive on fumes, all that garbage gets sucked into your fuel system. The result? Clogged filters, dirty injectors, and rough idling. AAA even recommends keeping at least a quarter tanked at all times. It's not just for safety, it's for the health of your car. Mistake number 5, neglecting tire pressure and alignment. Your tires are the only thing between your car and the road. If they're not right, nothing else matters. Underinflated tires flex too much, build heat, and risk blowouts. Overinflated tires wear out in the center and lose grip. Either way, you're cutting tire life in half. The U.S. Department of Energy estimates that driving on underinflated tires can reduce your fuel economy by up to 3%. Alignment is just as important. Hit a pothole too hard, and suddenly your tires are pointing slightly off-center. The car still drives, but one edge of the tire wears down twice as fast. In 10,000 miles, your tires can be toast. Always check tire pressure monthly and schedule an alignment every 6 to 12 months. Mistake number 4, installing cheap aftermarket parts. Immediately slapping bargain parts onto a new car is like feeding junk food to an Olympic athlete. Sure, it's cheaper in the short term, but the long-term damage isn't worth it. Cheap filters let debris circulate through your fresh engine. Bargain brake pads overheat and fail, and knockoff fluids can literally destroy transmissions. On top of that, many automakers will void your warranty if non-OEM parts cause damage. Aftermarket parts aren't all bad, but timing and quality matter. Stick with OEM for at least the first few years. When you upgrade, choose reputable brands, not whatever was on the discount shelf. Mistake number 3, skipping warm-ups in cold weather. Cold starts are brutal. When your car sits overnight in freezing temps, the oil thickens and sinks to the bottom of the pan. Start driving hard immediately and your engine is running metal on metal. The solution is simple. Let the car idle for 30 to 60 seconds so the oil pressure stabilizes. Then, drive gently until the temperature gauge starts to rise. You don't need to idle for 10 minutes. That actually causes fuel dilution in the oil. But you do need to give it a short warm-up before you push it. That tiny bit of patience can add years to your engine's life. Mistake number 2, harsh washing and bad chemicals. Want your new car to look old in 6 months? Wash it with dish soap or run it through a cheap brush wash. Dish soap strips protective wax and dries out clear coat. Automated brushes trap grit from dozens of dirty cars and drag it across your paint, leaving swirl marks and scratches after just a few washes. The fits: use pH-balanced car shampoo, a microfiber mitt, and the 2-bucket method. Or, if you use a car wash, choose touchless or soft cloth systems. Follow up with a wax or ceramic coating, and your paint will look showroom fresh for years. Mistake number 1, ignoring the break-in period altogether. This is the ultimate sin. Buy a brand new car and treat it like it's already broken in, and you've doomed it from mile 1. The break-in period, usually 500 to 1,000 miles, isn't arbitrary. It's the critical window when piston rings seat, bearings bed, and components wear in evenly. Abuse the car during this time, and you're guaranteeing higher oil consumption, lower compression, and reduced lifespan. I've torn apart engines with less than 10,000 miles that already showed glazed rings and scored cylinders, all because the owner ignored the break-in period. Respect it, and your car will thank you for years. Here's the bonus service tip that almost no one follows. Perform your early fluid changes ahead of schedule. That includes engine oil, coolant, transmission fluid, and even differential fluid if you have AWD or four-wheel drive. Why? Because brand new cars often carry assembly residue, metal particles, or even casting sand from the factory. Flushing them out early means your car systems start clean and stay clean. Do this, and you can literally double the lifespan of your car. So there you have it. 12 mistakes you should never make in a brand new car. Avoid these traps, and you'll save thousands in repairs while keeping your car running like new for decades.